Can I ask you a question? Are you ready to get and keep momentum in your business? I hope so, because it's Penny Elliott here, your host to having the perfect mix of the woo with the do. If you're ready to create the life that you want through a business designed by you, then tune in. So welcome everyone to the Get Momentum podcast for online entrepreneurs with me, your host, Penny Elliott. This is a show where we match the woo with the do. So it's your perfect mindset of strategy, a perfect mix of mindset and strategy to give you fast success in your online business and create that life that you actually thought you were going to when you first started your business. And we are kicking this podcast off, as you know, with the Hit Refresh on 2020 Summit. And today I have an awesome person who fills the room with love and shine, Rachel McMichael. And she's going to tell you what she's all about. But I met Rachel probably 4 years ago now. And she sat next to me as this blonde bombshell that had like all the attitude and sass. And she was definitely the top of the class in the group program that we did. And one thing that really struck me with Rachel, there's lots, and she's mentioned in my book. I write about some of the advice that she gave me. And one of the things that really struck me was I answered a question in our thing at the Ritz where we all met each other. And I stood up and answered a question, and she grabbed my phone and swiped it and started taking photos of me actually like answering this question. I thought, sat down, she was like, oh, I've got a few photos for you. And I thought, God, this woman, she's just onto it every step of the way. She's always thinking of like how to leverage some opportunity and make the most of it. And from that point on, I was like sold on the Rachel McMichael, her grandstand of whatever she was doing. And we've really been quite close, I would say, even though we're on the other side of the world. She's given me some great direction and help in all her different businesses that she's moved through. And so it's a real pleasure to have you on the podcast and one of the founding episodes. So Rachel, you probably want to tell everyone what you actually do in a formal sense. So welcome and let them know.
Oh, Penny, thank you so much for having me. And man, what an amazing introduction. So you guys already know, if you're listening to this podcast, how incredible Penny is. And I'm just so blessed by her friendship. What Penny didn't tell you was that even though we live so far away, she's in New Zealand, I'm over here in the United States, in southern United States, in the middle of nowhere, Arkansas. But one of the fun things that I've loved is how you can still feel so connected and close to someone because of the internet. You guys, what an amazing time that we live in. And if we're just meeting for the first time, like Penny said, my name is Rachel McMichael. I'm the founder of the Business with Impact Society, the host of the Business with Impact podcast, and I'm obsessed with helping women grow and start their online businesses. I think as women, sometimes we think that we can't have it all. We think that it's not possible to be a great mom, to be a great wife, and to have a thriving business. And somewhere along the way, we're almost told that it's not possible. And my mission, what I'm obsessed with, is showing women that it really is possible. If you just have an hour a day, if you have 5 hours a day, I'm going to show you how to run your online business, how to do it, and still keep the house clean, still cook the meals if you're into cooking the meals, still do the things that you're great at, and also how to get okay with delegating the things that you're not so great at. We don't have to do it all, but we can do it all if we want to.
That's such a great point. And I think the thing is, like, doing it all doesn't mean you actually physically have to do the dishes and do the dinner and do all that sort of stuff. Doing it all is actually being really successful at telling someone else to do it too. And
getting it all done. We don't have to be the one who does it.
Yeah. Yay for not having to clean toilets ever again. It's perfect. So I really want to talk about like this situation we're in now. And it's great that you spoke about the internet and how you can have such lasting friendships and and connections, because we are so blessed to live in this world right now. Too many times people are like, oh, my phone, oh, internet, oh, this, oh, that, it's distracting, it's all that sort of stuff. But with the current environment that we're in now, this like COVID coming out, I guess, almost, we're really, really blessed to be ahead of the game in the online world. We didn't feel isolated at all. We had the amazing calls. You really stepped up and supported all of us in the society. And so with that in mind, I've been asking all guests, how are you sort of hitting refresh on 2020, both in your business and your life? And I know that you've gone through some iterations of that as homeschooling and doing loads to start with to support people. And then, you've spoken on your podcast about actually having to have a breather, and then what it is that you now want to show people. So tell us a bit more about that.
Man, if we could only go back, right? At the beginning of 2020, I laid out everything at the end of 2019. I'm a planner. And so at the end of 2019, in my calendar, every launch date, every society call date, based on what I knew was going to be my situation this year. My kids in their schools and in their childcare arrangements, my husband and his work situation, me with the help that I had around the house and everything else. And then March happens and nothing is the same. Nothing is the same. And at first just like everybody else, right? We've gone through all the emotions. I mean, who hasn't gone through all the emotions? Frustration, anger, fear, worry, concern, excitement, possibility, all the emotions were circling. But I knew for me, the very first thing that I needed to do was step up and serve my community. Mm-hmm. Fear and love cannot coexist together. And so if I focus on loving, if I focus on serving, fear has no place there. And so it would have been easy for me to sit in fear. It would have been easy for me to sit in frustration, but that wasn't possible for me. So what I did was say, what can I do in this moment right now to serve? And that's what I went about doing, serving. Once I served and was in a really good place in my own mindset, because then after I served, you guys, I got a little tired, if I'm just being honest. I maybe a little bit overdid it, right? I maybe thought I could do it all, no help, and just go ahead and do it all and all by myself. And that wasn't.
I just need to interrupt here. What did you do? You did a challenge to a launch, and then COVID kind of hit. So then you went back and did almost more than what you did for your challenge. This was without a break. And then you were part of a really big summit. You were part of our free gift pack that we gave away here. And you also did 5 days of podcasts and podcast guests. And guys, it was like ran a marathon, finished that finish line, didn't even get in the ice bath or have a beer, and she just went straight back to the start and ran the marathon again.
I did. And I would do it again because I had so much fun doing it. If it had felt like work at the time, then I wouldn't have. But once it was finished, I needed some time just to pause, rest, and reflect. And I think there's wisdom in pausing and resting and reflecting in our businesses. And so that's what we did. And we did change the plan. We added some additional things to our society membership. We added some bonus calls for a few months so that our ladies could feel super supported. We changed the content because the content we were originally going to share didn't feel like it was as relevant. But we also took a step back. It was such a great time for us in our business to say, okay, when things are going great and they're continuing to move forward, sometimes we forget to pause and say what's really working and what isn't working, because when it's working more than it's not working, we don't really have to make some of those tough decisions. But we had an opportunity to pause and to say, team members, what are you doing right now that's working and not working? What's really yielding results? And what are we just doing that's fluff that really doesn't matter and has zero revenue impact? It's quite frankly a time waster, but we've just had time to waste in the past, so no big deal. Now we don't have time to waste anymore. We took a look at our funnels, what's working, what's not working. There were funnels that we've been running certain funnels since 2016. It was time for a refresh. It was time for some changes. It was time to do some upgrades and some updates. And I've had a kid since then, right? There are just some things in my life that are just very different. It was a time personally to also say, am I fueling my body with healthy foods? Am I positively charging my immune system on the daily, or am I stuck in negative thoughts and negative patterns and negative beliefs that are not doing anything for me? So this was a real time for us to take a hard look at everything. So the finish line changed. Some of the goals changed, and I'm excited about that. And I think that that's a really good thing. Spending all this time with my family, it's been such a blessing. I want to spend even more time with my family. So it changed some of those goals about how much time I'm spending with them, how much uninterrupted, non-phone, no technology-free time that we're spending with them. We planted a garden. We added plants to our house. I learned how to make bread from scratch. Fun things that I'm loving doing, activities and crafts with the kiddos. And so I would say that nothing really, other than the fact that I still am obsessed with my Ladies in the Business with Impact Society. I'm still obsessed with the women that I serve and mentor through my various business opportunities. Apart from that, things look really different, and only for the better. So it's been really, really good despite everything else that's been going on.
So true. It feels like my mum put it quite succinctly. She said, oh, it's great. Everyone, all these modern mums are going to have to learn how to cook dinners at home. And she said, and parent like we used to back in the 50s, like be at home with them. And I was like, oh, mum, it's not like that anymore. But so many people have, really relished in crafting and cooking and all of those things that our mums spent time at home doing. So yeah, interesting that was one of the big things that you've changed and you're going to keep. That's great.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And also, I think the other thing that listeners need to understand and take on board is that you cut all the fluff out of your business. And so many times I say that, if you don't have the money coming into your business, you've just got a really fancy Instagram and a lovely website. And people think, oh, it's so harsh. It's so harsh. But it's true. If you're spending hours and hours creating, say, graphics for Instagram and not putting any call to actions on, on asking for someone to book a call with you or buy your service or download your, your freebie, then that is fluff.
Right.
Yeah. So it's important to focus on what is revenue generating. And that doesn't always mean getting out there and going, buy me. But yeah. So interesting as well. How did your team sort of take the line of thinking or your questioning around, what is it that you're really enjoying? Like, how did they, that's really empowering from you as a leader to them. How did they respond?
Really, really well. The team that I've been working with, most of them have been around for years, 3-4 years. And so they took it in stride, really started to think through what can we do differently? How can we approach this differently? Things are different right now, and they understand that. And they've been amazing. They've been the biggest champions for the direction we're headed and very insightful. I think a lot of times as business owners, we still have our own blind spots, right? Because it's our business. It's kind of like when your friend is dating a loser and you're like, oh my goodness, why is she with him? What is wrong with her? But then when you're dating a loser, you're like, why does everybody think he's a loser? He's so amazing to me, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of how we can get with our own businesses. We have these blind spots. We wear these rose-colored glasses. And so this has been such an opportunity for the team to step up and say, hey, actually, these are great questions. And here's what we've noticed. Here's what we've seen. It's been very empowering for them. Very, very healthy for the team.
Yeah. What great leadership you've got, Rachel. Well done.
Oh, thank you.
So if we could have the crystal ball, I could get it out, and you could go back to the day before lockdown, what would you have bought or changed in your business knowing what you know now?
I had a crystal ball and I could go back. I would have done a lot of the things that I'm doing right now a lot sooner, right?
Good.
Hindsight's 2020. And so what was I doing back in December? Why was I not taking a look at some of these financial line items, some of these things that the team were doing, empowering them sooner? So much opportunity that we could have done before. Now, I can't wave that magic wand. I don't have that crystal ball, but we're doing it now. And I think sometimes as business owners, we look back and we say, oh, if I only knew this then, I would have done it differently. And what I'm trying to remind myself is I didn't know those things then, but I know them now. And what I choose to do now with the information that I have, that's what really matters. And so just as an encouragement to someone who's out there who maybe has gone through some of these things, right? They've started to see some things in their business that aren't lovely. They've started to expose some of the things internally that might be going on in their internal monologue. They've started to really sit down and say what's working and what's not working. And maybe they're seeing some things that just aren't going quite right. Man, what amazing data to have in your business. What an amazing opportunity to get to see that now. And we have the opportunity, always have the opportunity to change moving forward. And so I think we will look back on our business 5 years, 10 years from now and say, what an awesome milestone that was for us to take this initiative and make these changes. Was it hard? Yes. Was it frustrating? Yes. Do I wish that it took this to do that? Of course not. Of course not. Hear me loud and clear. I wish that it was under different circumstances. But what an opportunity this can be for any business. I even look at business owners who maybe just haven't been as visible online. Maybe they've relied on more of the in-person connection, and now they're having to shift online. Business requires the shift online. What an opportunity to get online now and do it now. It's never too late to start doing the right thing. It's never too late to start moving in the right direction. And I can't guarantee anything other than business is going to be difficult and that it's going to be worth it. But it's going to be worth it. It's going to be worth it. Whatever changes we're making, it's going to be worth it.
Yeah, like that saying, there's only 2 good times to plant a tree, now and 40 years ago.
Yes.
Right? So
yes.
Plant that tree now, put that seed down and get cracking. Yeah, great. And so I guess this is kind of like dovetails into, you saying, that you've got to be kind to yourself and just make the change right now and not worry about what's gone before. But you know me, and this podcast is all about cutting through the BS and how you get momentum in your business, not about the fluff, to use the word that you use. So what barrier have you had in your business that you had to just sit down and say, Rachel, this is BS, and move on so that you could get momentum? What's that one thing that you can recall that you'd like to share with the listeners that they could learn from?
Oh, I mean, I feel like in every stage of my business, it's been a new one, right? When I was first getting started, it was that visibility, right? And so if I would say for somebody who's just getting started, for me, it was that consistent visibility, that discipline to show up even when I didn't feel like it, even when it didn't feel like it was working, even when, right?
Yeah.
I think business is a lot like farming, and I'm not a farmer, but we do have a garden that's growing. And I remember when we planted our garden, and my daughter, as soon as we saw just like little sprouts of kale, she's like wanting to pick off the leaves and eat them. I'm like, baby girl, give it some time. These leaves are going to get huge. They're going to be amazing, and they're going to taste even better. But mom, they're here right now.
Yeah,
but mom, what if I just take this, right? And we have, it just takes time. They need more sun. They need more water. They just need our patience. Mm-hmm. One of my coaches and mentors, I heard them say earlier today, what if you knew that 4 years from now, your business was going to be successful, would you wait it out? Would you be patient? Would you get visible? Would you be consistent? Would you do what you needed to do even when it didn't feel like it was working, knowing that 4 years from now it would work? And I think our businesses are just like that. When I first got started, I didn't know what I didn't know. And that was probably a protection, because I don't know if I would have done everything if I had known what all it would entail. However, that being said, I knew that I had to just stay the course, just keep going, even when it didn't feel like I was making sales, even when it didn't feel like things were working. And I look today and I say, what if I had given up? If I had given up when no one was responding? What if I had given up when I had that launch that made no money? What if I had given up when I had that launch that lost money? What if I had given up that moment that I sat next to my husband and had to tell him that my business was thousands of dollars in debt? What if I had given up then? I wouldn't be here right now, able to serve the women I serve, able to live the life I live, able to have the impact I have. Wouldn't have my business with impact if I hadn't just stayed the course. And so as airy-fairy as that sounds, as, silly as that sounds, the best thing I ever did for my business was keep going. Just keep going.
And I'm going to show you the flip side of that. So Rachel and I pretty much started this type of online business at the same time. And I was going back through my Canva, and I was going right back to the very first images that I created, because I wanted to find something anyway. And I'd done an advert for a little square as an advert for who is an Instagram specialist. And it was because I was looking for an Instagram specialist. Now, I never posted that. I never found an Instagram specialist. And my Instagram at the moment is about 1,000, and they're all unpaid for likes. They are, organically grown. But if I had actually stuck with that one thing and actually posted that and known that in 4 years' time, it was totally the channel to be on, I would be, up in the 20,000, 30,000 like you are, Rachel. And I didn't. I was like, this is too hard. I won't do that. The same thing with this podcast. I used to have Money Penny TV, and I did like 15 episodes of it, and then I was like, oh, no one's really watching that on YouTube. I think I had like 17 people follow me on YouTube, and I was like, nah, won't do that. So could you imagine if I had done 4 years of Money Penny TV, how massive that would have been on YouTube? So there are lots of examples in my life where I haven't stuck to that one thing and had faith that it would continue to grow. And then all of a sudden it's like the latest phenomenon. Like one of my first early businesses was paleo granola, and everyone was like, what? That's so niche. It's like a whole shelf and more on the supermarket shelves now, and we were one of the first to market. So it just goes to show, like, stick at what's in your heart and have that thought process that you said, Rachel, which is great. Like if I know it's going to work, what will it be in 4 years' time? And just keep going.
Absolutely. And it'll probably be bigger and better than you ever thought. And the growth that happens internally, even if you don't hit whatever arbitrary goal that you set out, right? Because that's all a goal is. A goal is literally a fake number that we pull out of the air and attach meaning to. Now, I think we need to know where we're headed. I think it's important to have a destination. But all a goal is an arbitrary number that we decided meant something for us. And then when we don't hit it, we beat ourselves up over it. But what if 4 years from now, we're past whatever goal we even thought was possible? Or what if we've grown so much that we're almost unrecognizable because of how much inner work we've done? Business really does come down to action, which comes down to the mindset to take the action you need to take to get the results you need to get. And our mindsets are muscles. They can be worked, they can be molded, they can be shaped. And so, man, Penny, like I look at your business, and it's so funny because you gave this story of your business, but what I see is my friend who has a book. I see my friend who's launching a podcast. I see my friend who's doing incredible, incredible things, who has the cutest baby boy, who is just on fire all the time, who is still wearing lipstick, even in the middle of lockdown. I can't remember the last time I wore lipstick. I love it. I think it's amazing. And it's just so inspiring to see what you're doing and what you've made from everything that's going on right now.
Yeah, thank you. So I guess what I could probably answer this. Well, I can answer this because you tell everyone, but tell everyone who doesn't know you, what legacy is Rachel McMichael wanting to create and leave in this online space?
Man, I want people to know that they can do it, that it really is possible for them. And it sounds so cliche to say that, right? It sounds so cliche. I think it's possible for you has been way overused in this online space. But the truth is, you can be an amazing mom and an amazing wife and have an incredible business. And if you believe that you were divinely called to serve and help others, start doing it. Stop waiting. Stop saying in the future. Start living out your God-given gifts. Start using them. People need them. They're craving them. They're waiting for you to get started. They're looking for you right now, and they're not finding you because you're not out there. And so my legacy would be, I want to help as many people as I possibly can get out there, use their gifts, and serve the people they were meant to serve, do the thing they were meant to do, and do it well.
Lovely. Awesome. And you already are. So, you can tick the box on that and just keep growing. That's amazing. So how can people get in touch with you? Because you do awesome Instagram stories.
Oh, so here's what I would say. If you want to if you wanted to come to the tour of my home, if you will, that would be like my website, rachelmcmichael.com, right? You get the fancy Southern home and gardens view of the Rachel McMichael brand. If you want to do a day in the life of the family of Rachel McMichael, you know what I mean? Come alongside me with the kids to the park and make the crafts and do the things. Let's hang out on Instagram. Let's be friends. That's where my best friends, that's where I meet them. That's where we hang out. And it's at Rachel R. McMichael over there. And here's a funny thing. There's also a Rachel McMichael, and she's really cool too. We're friends on Instagram. She's not me. I'm Rachel R. McMichael, and she's cool. You should follow her too. But if you want to connect with me, it's Rachel R. McMichael.
Brilliant. And we will put that in the show notes below, so you can always click on the link. But if you're out and about listening to it, it's Rachel R. McMichael. Don't forget the R, very crucial part. And you always have all these great gifts and ways to start businesses. So what's something that you'd like to give to the listeners so they can have a taster of what you're all about?
Yeah, so two things. So one, if you just want to download all my free content, go listen to my podcast. It's the Business with Impact podcast. And it's truly the best way to just throw me on. Maybe don't throw me on 2x speed. I talk kind of quick. If you're a quick listener, you throw me on 2x speed. If you're not,
I can only do 1.5.
Like 1.5, right? But that is where I truly share what I'm learning right now in this space, what's going on in my business, my best advice. If I were your business big sister, that's where you'd go to I feel like it's like me having coffee with you as best as I possibly can in a virtual space. And then if you want a free gift, if you want a free PDF, something that's really going to help you in your business, my business toolkit is the best thing. Is at rachelmcmichael.com/toolkit. And that toolkit really shows, hey, if you're just getting started, if you have maybe $100 a month to invest in your business, maybe less, here's where I'd spend it. Here's what I do. And here's how I'd put it all together.
Both of those are fantastic. Rachel is my running partner. So often we will, on a Tuesday morning, unbeknown to Rachel, she comes running with me.
I love it.
You should send your Fitbit over and I can take you with me.
I would love to log all the miles that you probably log running in the early morning. Yeah,
so it's great. She chats away to me and I come home with all these great ideas. in the business toolkit, I've actually got a lot of my my people in my old Facebook group to go over and download that, because it is the one-stop shop to find all the tools that you need to get your business going. Don't try and create your business by looking at what people have got on the outside. You really do need to know what's driving a lot of their functions behind it. And this toolkit is fantastic. It demystifies spending hours watching tutorials and trying to work out which is the best value and how does what connect to what. She tells you this one or this one, this one or this one, this one or this one, and this is why. So it's really, really easy. So jump on that. And obviously we'll put the link in the show notes as well. So I'd like to thank you very much for being a guest. Thank you so much for jumping on. And as the last little sound bite, what is your favorite one-liner that you tell yourself to give yourself sort of a pep talk to get momentum in business?
Oh, there's so many. There's so many. So truly, I have a list of things that I say to myself every single day. But one of the ones that is coming up for me right at this moment that I feel like your audience might need to hear is actually a Bible verse that I quote to myself. And it just says, if God is for you, who can be against you, right? If he's got this, why are you so worried about this, right? And so that is the thing that I just repeat to myself over and over again. If he is for me, who can be against me? I have nothing to fear in this business.
Is that like John 12 or something?
Oh man, you're going to put me on the spot.
No, but do you know why I say that? Okay, now this is how like the universe works for you. And it sums this one-liner up massively. I was cycling the last time I was on my bike, which was on the weekend. I rode past a huge church that is like the last hill. And I was about to die. You guys can go and have a look at my Strava file. We'd rode 107K. It was the fastest I've ridden in a long, long time. And that verse was on the tiles outside the church. And I thought, you are for me. I'm going to get up this hill and watch me go. How crazy is that?
That is so crazy. It's Romans 8.
Romans 8.
So.
Oh my goodness. Wow. That's just blown my socks off. So thank you very much for being a guest today and part of the start of my podcast and the summit. And you will see Rachel over on her podcast. Make sure you go over, run with her, drive with her, coffee with her, listen to her. She is your business big sister. And jump on her stories as well, because they are hilarious. They are great.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Penny. This has been so fun. And to all of your listeners, to all of your audience, thanks for hanging out with us. This has been such a privilege for me to have the opportunity to be here. Thank you.
Amazing. All right. Make sure you stay tuned for the next episode, and we'll see you on the flip side. Bye. Wow. What an amazing episode. Thanks for tuning in. And if you loved the Woo with the Do and want to dive deeper into how you too can get and keep momentum in your business, then please join us at pennyelliottgroup.com/consistent clients for the live training this month. It's going to be super juicy, as I'm giving you access to the only 3 daily habits and mindset tweaks you need to have consistent clients in your business forevermore. Come and join us.